In May, Avon Maitland District School Board announced Ministry of Education funding to demolish and reconstruct the 1958 wing of Stratford Central Secondary School. These renovations are required to address significant structural issues and must be addressed by November 2019 in order for the building to remain operational. We have supplemented that funding with board funds to address accessibility issues at the school. The construction of Stratford Central will include Through board and new ministry funding, we are finally able to address these issues. However, the ministry requirement for funding mandates that we utilize all existing empty student spaces. This means that the funding is contingent on AMDSB reducing 300 student spaces at Stratford Central and filling up all available student spaces at Stratford Northwestern. Last spring, we began facilitating discussions and defining a set of principles on which to base this project. On June 25th, the principals of the two schools met with a parent focus group after an invitation had been extended to all parents of both schools and feeder elementary schools. 46 attendees gathered to provide initial input and considerations. Following this meeting, senior staff, led by our director, analyzed all information and arrived at 6 options, our very best thinking at the time. These potential options required further analysis to determine feasibility. We then hired a consultant with expertise in secondary programming, staffing, and timetabling, established a steering committee, and senior staff met to develop criteria for evaluating our options. In September, we met again with the focus group. We announced a plan to gather broad community input to assist in the decision-making process using the e-platform Thought Exchange. Our consultant began to examine the timetable implications of each of the 6 options to determine their feasibility. This included the movement of required student numbers, access to programs for students, and the transition and staff implications within each model. The consideration process included at the forefront the health, safety, and well-being of all students and staff at both locations, and the need to minimize disruptions in learning. From there, we examined logistical considerations. This process helped us to flesh out each option and understand the pros and cons of each model. During these months, we were also making decisions about how to ensure a smooth transition while minimizing any disruption to learning during the transition renovation year. In October, we launched the Thought Exchange input gathering process for 2 weeks, further examined timetable and scheduling implications of the 6 options, and evaluated our criteria against each option to determine feasibility. November brought the analysis of the public input provided through Thought Exchange, reviewing external research regarding the system model towards which we were moving, and communicating with the staff of the Ministry of Education Regional Office, who indicated that we had undertaken a very thorough consultation. Our next steps in January will include focusing on solidifying the transition year details. Having completed this thorough, evidence-informed process, we have arrived at a decision and are excited about the creative, innovative, and enhanced opportunities for programming available for all students from grade 7 to 12 in Stratford. We are moving towards the model that will ensure equitable access to a wider variety of high-quality course options in Stratford, driven by student choice.